Opening with the king's pawn controls the center and opens up the light-squared bishop and queen, often leading to sharp games. The Sicilian defense controls the d4 square with c-pawn. Knight f3 develops the knight toward the center to prepare for a d4 pawn push, where the knight will recapture if black captures on d4. Knight c6 helps control both the d4 square and the e5 square. d4 offers to trade a center pawn for the c5 pawn, in exchange for more control of the center and quick development. C takes d4 gives black 2 central pawns versus 1 central pawn for white. Knight takes d4 recaptures the pawn, and activates the knight in return for having 1 central pawn, versus black's 2 central pawns. Queen c7 develops the queen, protects the knight on c6, and controls the e5 square. White develops the knight and attacks the center. This is the only good move. This prepares the bishop for development. g3 prepares to fianchetto the light-squared bishop to g2, where it will control the center from the long diagonal. a6 controls the b5 square and prepares the b5 pawn push. Bishop g2 puts the bishop on the long diagonal in a move called a fianchetto. Knight f6 develops the knight toward the center and attacks the e4 pawn. Castling gets the king out of the center and activates the rook. This is an equal trade. Recaptures. This develops a piece while also winning a tempo on a queen. This threatens to tactically win a knight. This prevents the opponent from being able to tactically win a knight. This moves the queen to safety. With the rook now developed as well, white has all pieces ready for action. This is the only move that works. This blocks an attack on a pawn. This offers an equal trade of pieces. This is not the right idea. This is the only good move. After all captures, this is an equal trade. Takes back. This blocks the attack on a rook that could have been captured. This moves the bishop to safety. This strikes at the center to fight for space. This overlooks an opportunity to connect rooks. This allows the opponent to take an outpost with a knight. This blocks the attack on a queen that could have been captured. This maintains the balance in material with a good trade. Recaptures. This is the only move that works. The pawn is now passed because it can no longer be challenged by pawns as it tries to promote. This threatens to eventually win a pawn. This is an equal trade. This is the only good move. This steps away from the checking rook. This offers to exchange pieces of equal value. After all captures, this is an equal trade. Takes back. This blocks the check from an opposing queen. This maintains the balance in material with a good trade. Recaptures. This move puts the rook on a safer square. This overlooks a better way to defend a pawn that was under attack. Right on target. This moves the pawn to safety. This moves the bishop to a more active square, making it gain scope. This defends the attacked pawn. This activates the king in the endgame by getting it off of the back rank. That's not a mistake, but it's not the best move either. A very strong play. There were worse moves, but also something much better. This move puts the rook on a safer square. This is the strongest option. Very precise. This steps away from the checking rook. This is a fair move. The knight finds a new active square. This is the only good move. One of the best moves. A solid choice. Right on target. That's fine. This is not the right idea. This is the strongest option. A very strong play. One of the best moves. This evades the check from the rook. That's not a mistake, but it's not the best move either. This blocks the attack on a pawn that could have been captured. This is a fair move. Very precise. That's fine. Right on target. There were worse moves, but also something much better. This permits the opponent to pin a knight to the king. This pins a knight to the king. The rook is now on an open file, which helps control squares across the board. This is the strongest option. This is not the right idea. This offers an equal trade of pieces. This frees a rook to defend another piece. This is the only move that works. After all captures, this is an equal trade. Takes back. Very precise. Right on target. This is the strongest option. A solid choice. The bishop finds a new active square. This evades the check from the bishop. A very strong play. One of the best moves. Very precise. This steps away from the checking bishop. Right on target. This threatens to play checkmate. This stops the opponent from being able to play checkmate. This evades the check from the bishop. This is the only good move. This moves the bishop to a better location, allowing it to control more squares. The knight finds a new active square. This move puts the bishop on a safer square. This is the strongest option. This moves the bishop to a better location, allowing it to control more squares. That's not a mistake, but it's not the best move either. A solid choice. Very precise. White's bishop has moved to a square with greater activity and control. This steps away from the checking bishop. A very strong play. This is a fair move. This moves the bishop to a more active square, making it gain scope. This move puts the knight on a safer square. This moves the bishop to safety. There were worse moves, but also something much better. Right on target. This defends the attacked pawn. This is the strongest option. Very precise. Right on target. Recaptures. Now black can't stop white from winning a pawn if they make the right moves. That's fine. That was a free pawn. One of the best moves. This is the only move that works. This maintains the balance in material with a good trade. Takes back. A solid choice. This creates a pawn chain, linked pawns that form a strong structure. This is the strongest option. The passed pawn moves towards its goal. This takes an outpost, a square where the knight cannot be kicked out by a pawn. This is the only good move. This evades the check from the knight. That's not a mistake, but it's not the best move either. A very strong play. One of the best moves. This creates a pawn chain, linked pawns that form a strong structure.